we're back with Real Talk with Real People. Today I'm joined by Lee and Kim and our special guest, Matika Robinson. How are you?
Hi.
Well, let's get to know you a little bit more. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Well, my name is Matika Robinson, and I have been at Burt Recovery for many, many years.
She's like double digits. Yeah. She's like, but what am I telling you?
Yeah,
She's like
21 years.
double decades. I'm
21
just saying.
years. I work with adolescents. I love adolescents. Been working with them since I've been here. I'm in the schools, so I am in all the high schools and middle schools as needed. And what I do basically, I do counseling with students, and I do a 6-week education program that's called the SKIP program, and it stands for School Intervention Program. That program is for students who violates the drug-free policy in school, get caught with any substances, come to school under the influence of any substances, or have any drug paraphernalia, or even counterfeit substances portraying like real substances. Believe it or not, we've had students come with grass and stuff and sell it to kids that think it's marijuana. Yes, yes, or crushed up powder, or stuff like that, selling it as coke. So anything like that, they have to get a screening done to see if they are suitable for my program, because my program is strictly education. So it's like the first level. Unfortunately, some students are more involved in substances, so they may need in-depth treatment, like outpatient treatment. But if not, then they'll come through my program for 6 weeks, and we talk about a lot of things. I have an evidence-based curriculum that we do that's called Project Towards No Drug Abuse. Really outstanding curriculum. So we focus on substances, the dangers of substances, physically and mentally. We talk about peer pressure. We talk about addiction in a whole. We talk about family trees. We do a family tree and try to trace our families way back to see how many, if they know, have battled with substance abuse or alcoholism. We do role playing, or on situations if they're in a situation and do not know how to handle it, like peer pressure. They really don't want to do a substance, but their friends are saying, come on, let's do it. So we get up and role play. How can we handle this? My program is really an outstanding program.
It really is. I've been there for one of the meetings, and first off, I want to say they're good kids. Like I've talked to them, they're great. I love talking to them. They're open and honest in that setting too, and I think that's one of the most important things.
Absolutely,
open and honest,
making them feel comfortable. And that's the first thing. You have to get that rapport with the teenagers, or you lose them. So I definitely make them feel comfortable and let them know that anything you say here, you don't have to worry about it going anywhere. So once they feel comfortable, then they're opening up. First day, everybody's trying to feel each other. By the second day, third day, it's over. They're just talking like crazy, So.
And it's kind of a rolling program too, so while someone's still in the middle of their 6 weeks or nearing the end of it, you're getting in a new batch too, so the older ones that have been in the group for longer actually can keep that dialogue open and keep it, and it makes the other ones that are coming in feel more comfortable too.
Yeah, it's called an open group. That means, they're steady coming in any week, And so it's really a good program,
How has this changed in 21 years? How has it changed?
You definitely, as far as the substance use, it's still the same, Alcohol is still the first, number one used and abused substance, even though we think marijuana is, because you hear more about, kids, but it's still alcohol.
You think because marijuana is illegal, maybe, that you hear more?
Yeah, and I think so. Because it's illegal.
Yeah.
Now though, more kids are getting caught with marijuana, than they did, 15 years ago. It was more of alcohol, but still, statistically, alcohol is still the legal first use and abuse substance with adolescents. So you see that. And that's basically, you know, about kids are getting more clever and high in their substances, you know. Way back then, I don't know if it's, they just didn't care. But, you know, here, I mean, you have to really be king now to catch the kids today.
Yeah.
They have so many hiding places and gadgets that you hide substances.
I think that's
in.
it, like the gadgets and the way, like
You know.
Juuls, when those first came out, everybody thought they were USB drives.
Yeah.
And I know now that they have those fillable stations, so you take your water bottle and fill it up. Everybody has water bottles.
Yes.
Vodka looks just like water, and
Yeah.
you can't tell the difference. And even
Absolutely.
aroma of vodka is not
it's
as
not
strong as
spicy.
other liquors.
Right.
And
right.
so, you know, kids are, even if it's kind of blatant, like you got a bottle there, but it looks like water, like they're much better at hiding it.
Yeah, and I think another one, edibles. You know, edibles wasn't really popular back in the day, and now they're popular. And see, kids could bring food to school. You know, they could bring brownies or cookies to school. You know, so kids are doing that now.
Especially the gummies, you just put them in a
Yeah,
Ziploc bag.
yeah.
How would you know the difference?
Yeah,
They
we
look the
wouldn't
same.
know.
wouldn't
Fix our
know.
Patch
You
Kids
wouldn't
or
know
other
the difference, right?
Well, I would just have it as a policy that if I see gummy bears, I'm gonna take your gummy bears and eat them because I love gummy bears. Then when I get back-
Oh,
So
you'll be passed out somewhere. I wouldn't do that. I definitely
Don't
wouldn't
know
do
what
that.
you can do.
Exactly.
I mean, that is really like scary if you think about it, because it's almost like ease of access, right? Like they can get them in a shape that's hot, hidden from the teachers and
Oh,
kind of.
absolutely.
And do teachers know about, like, who usually catches the students? Or is it a student gets in trouble, or like, how does that
Well,
process
it's
happen?
a variety. Some teachers, you know, can suspect the kids, you know, when they come in
Right.
the classroom. But believe it or not, they have undercover kids that go and tell.
Oh, that's
Really?
interesting.
Yes, they do.
I
Yes, they
didn't know
do.
that.
They have undercover, I guess, I don't want to say narcs,
Yes,
but,
right.
you know,
yeah.
but, you know, they have undercover kids that go and report kids that are under the influence or selling or
Yeah.
whatever.
And it's totally anonymous, the students don't get in trouble.
yes,
It's
Yeah.
not
absolutely,
outed or-
yes.
And it's interesting nowadays because it's almost like if you didn't have them in place, how would you know?
How would you know?
Yeah, because you have to be kind of in
'Cause
somehow
Yeah,
because they're
yeah.
hiding it and
Yeah.
some adults.
As the administration, they're so busy with their stuff, so they can't go and be looking at students' eyes or, you know. Nowadays, they're checking the bathrooms because the Juuls and stuff is so popular and kids go to the bathroom to use it, you know. So administrators will take breaks and go to the bathrooms and check bathrooms now. But, you know, they're just so sneaky,
They're sneaky.
sneaky.
What are some of the reasons you've heard, like talking to the kids, on why there's such an attraction to substances?
Well, you have to think the environment, you know, where they're raised. Like marijuana today, you know, a lot of parents, you know, think that it's okay. You know, I've had several parents tell me, you know, Miss Robertson, I'm not like going to advertise it, but I would much rather for my child to smoke marijuana than take the pills that they take for ADHD because it, you know, makes them zombified. They won't eat or whatever. But when they smoke marijuana, they, you know, they eat, you know, they're focused. Now this is what parents tell me, you know. So I think it's more acceptable nowadays, you know.
Have you ever had a parent say, I'm fine with my kid doing whatever because I do it at home? Or, I mean, like, especially with marijuana, like, I'd rather them smoke marijuana. I mean, we do it at home. I do it, there's nothing wrong with it.
I have. So as long as they do it in my home, that they're okay. I would rather them do it at home than out in the streets and get a hold to something that they don't know.
I feel that was kind of the way it was with alcohol too, though.
Yeah.
Before we kind of seen the rise of marijuana, the alcohol was, I'm okay if my kid does it at home.
Oh, yeah, you still have parents
Yeah,
with
that's
alcohol
interesting.
saying
Like
the
Rob
same
said that
thing.
the other day. He was like, my parents, you know, they collected everybody's keys, you put them in a basket, and you, like, that was safety. I mean, it's almost like socially safer, but your brain is still not developed, and you're still drinking alcohol and damaging your brain. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's a tough one definitely.
So it seems like it's like almost like a parents are teaching it's a rite of passage. It's like, this is your journey into adulthood is through this.
Well, if you tell me I can do it, isn't that condoning it?
Yeah.
I mean, you're saying it's okay.
And especially if it comes from your parents, because most of the time, that's the number one person you trust.
Yeah, yeah.
So if they say it's okay, it's gotta be okay. I mean, that's your mom and dad.
Yeah, they're the ones that develop your
Yeah,
guardrails and
yeah.
everything, so.
I mean, we only see them like, what, 5-6 hours a day, you know? So if they're in a home with parents, especially if their parents are using as well,
Mhm.
or my parents using, they okay, they still work, you know, but it's okay.
They drink all the time, they're still fine.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we have a misconception that people who use substances always look a certain way or always act a certain way.
Yes.
Or, I mean, it's even like if you talk about homeless individuals, you
Mhm.
automatically think someone living under a bridge.
Exactly.
That's not at all what it looks like.
Right.
And so if you have a parent or a family member who uses, but they function just fine on the outside, we don't know what damage is on the inside, but they function just
Right.
fine on the
Right.
outside, that's all you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're a kid and that's your model,
Right, and we touch on that in my SKIP program, functional alcoholic or functional addict, you know, because we have we have lawyers, we have, you know, police officers, we have professionals
Mhm.
that do their job very well, but they have a drinking problem or they have a problem with prescription meds or whatever, you know. So we have to allow them kids to know that just because your dad or mom or a grandfather's getting up every day and working, you know, and still coming home and drinking every day, it's still affecting him
Yeah.
or her, you know. Yeah.
well, I know we had, I'm sorry. I didn't-
Oh, no, you're good, yeah.
We had, when we worked on this project for the Purple Elephant project, which is coming back out pretty soon, we were working with a member of the city. And so he was telling us that he had a personal experience, you know, with living with a functional alcoholic. But he said as a kid, he knew that if he had a question to ask his dad, it was his dad, if he had a question to ask his dad, he had until 7 o'clock to get that question asked, because his dad started drinking at 7, and anything after 7 was off limits. His dad wouldn't remember, because that's what his dad did every night. He drank till he got wasted, he passed out, woke up at 6 the next morning, functioned entirely fine throughout the whole day until 7 o'clock. He was like, that was our normal. I mean, it didn't seem weird, I didn't talk about it, I don't know. He said, when I got older and went to college, I realized, oh, that was weird. But kids are resilient and they learn to function with that.
Absolutely.
And so how do you explain to them, I get that you're resilient, but that's not a good normal.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's another one too that's kind of hard, because it's more like, as a society, we're just telling them, just wait, you know what I'm saying? Wait till you're 21, like we never really get into like the dangers of it, even after 21
Yeah,
or anything like that. We just kind of keep telling them like, just don't do it now, just wait till you're 21, and then on your 21st birthday, you're
yeah.
free to do it as much as you want, which I'm okay with the freedom part, I agree with that, but it's like,
Responsibility part.
it's the
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's that kind of view from society that it's A-okay once you're a certain age, but before that, you're wrong. And how do you, like, you can't really fight that to kids, because they're like, well, why do I have to wait? If it's okay
Yeah.
for me at 21, why is it not okay for me at this age?
Right.
And I don't remember anybody teaching how to drink responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
Like that whole
No.
concept, like you're 21, you can, it was like on or off, like you can't do it, now you're
Right.
21, you can do it. There was never a conversation of, okay, when you do it, I mean, it might have been like, don't get wasted, that's embarrassing.
But how do you even know
That's
that
it.
you can't, like, what's the stopping point to waste?
You don't.
You don't?
You know, you look
How
at,
do you teach that?
right, and you
That's
look at
crazy.
all
Yeah.
the university kids that are dying because of alcohol poisoning and stuff. They go to college
Binge
and they just binge drink. They
Yeah.
don't know, you know, and it kills them.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know.
Mhm.
I never went to a frat party that wasn't all about alcohol.
Oh, yes.
I mean, and you would drink as much as you could, and that was the
Mhm.
point. I remember my first frat party I ever went to, this guy was walking around with a loaf of bread, and I thought that was the weirdest thing. But what he had done was he had drank so much so fast, and it was so early in the night, he wanted to keep going. So he
Mhm.
was carving up to absorb all the alcohol
Yeah.
in his system, so that he could keep going.
I just,
But like,
wow.
that was his goal. I mean, that was his
Yeah.
goal, was to drink
You
as
look
much
back
as
on
he
stuff
could.
like that though,
Yeah.
You
later in life,
crazy?
and you're like, huh?
Yeah, But now if we went to a party and you saw it, you'd be like, this is embarrassing, look at
Yeah,
that guy.
yeah, absolutely.
It just, I wonder what makes that shift and how, I mean, do you teach your kids not to do it? I mean, I guess it's harm reduction if you teach drinking responsibly. And what was it like when you were growing up? Do you mind if we go there?
No. Well, see, my mother and father they were partiers, so it was, you know, they were very free and open, you know. They allowed us to, you know, hang out and or whatever. She just said, go to school, make sure you pass your, you know, your classes or whatever. So we partied in high school, you know. But unfortunately, thank God, I never, you know, passed out or, you know, had alcohol poisoning because growing up with a lot of drug addiction in families, you know, I was always scared. Now, I did party, you know, with my friends and stuff, but I was always like just, I don't want to do too much, you know. But our parents were very open, like, y'all can go out and have fun.
As long as you make good grades, then
As
you're
long as you
fine.
make good grades and go to school.
That sounds very similar to today, what would be happening. So talking about parent, totally stealing this and
You're
this,
good,
you know,
you're good.
I just have so many questions. So when we're talking about parents, like what do you see parent attitudes, you know, when kids are referred to your program, what are the parents like? We talk about parents on this show all the time and about how parents have to be involved and all these pieces, but what is it, I mean, you're dealing with them all the time. What does it look like?
I think, you know, maybe 50% of parents really, you know, are involved and concerned about their kids, you know, when they get caught. And some of them really don't have a clue. 10% do not have a clue that their kids are out doing what they're doing. But I think, you know, other parents that are engaging, you know, they sometimes first blame the schools. They're very defensive. They don't want to have their children accept responsibility of their actions. So they either say it was friends they hung around with, or why do they have to come through this stupid program, or, you know, they're not addicted to drugs, you know. So I try to explain to them about my program, you know, it's not treatment,
Right.
you know, and I think everyone, even if kids are not using, should come through my program, you know, to get
Absolutely.
educated.
I
you
think
know?
your program should be
Yes,
mandatory.
yes.
Class every time.
Absolutely. So they kind of calm down, you know, and then they wonder, well, do I have to be involved? Do I have to, you know, do I have to come, you know?
Isn't that crazy how many
Because they want
parents-
to,
Yeah.
or because they don't want
They,
to?
they don't want
Yeah.
to, you know. So it just is different, you know,
Why do parents not want to come?
because they probably don't even want to be involved because they're using also, you know. Now some parents that want to come, they want to come and make sure their kids don't say anything.
Oh, that's
Oh.
interesting. They want to police their
Yeah,
children.
because when I have a meeting with them and we go over the rules before the kid enters the program, and I say, you know, parents or anyone is not allowed. Why not? I said, well, you know, confidentiality for other students that are
Yes,
here, you know. Well, can I sit in, you know, in the building? No, ma'am. But you have free to sit out in the parking lot. But, you know, so they just don't want their kids to say anything.
Tell them.
Yeah,
you
they
know.
want to monitor everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So if you have a parent in the room staring at your kid, of course they're not going to be free and talk. And believe me, if parents could come to my program and hear some of the kids, they would choke them.
I bet they would.
Some kids, I smoke weed with my dad. If dad knew that.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
But I think that's really awesome. I've sat in on your group before. And let me just say, every time we sit in on the group, we have all the kids' permission and obviously we have yours. But they are so honest and open and willing to tell, especially if you say, this is why we want to know, we want to help, we want to make sure no one else gets in trouble. And they'll, you know, sometimes they'll be honest and be like, I don't see a problem with it, but I'll answer whatever you want to know.
Absolutely.
I mean, we get that you guys are trying to make it all about prevention, but whatever.
Yeah.
And why do they do it? So why do these kids choose to drink or smoke or take
I wanna fit
pills.
in.
or-
I wanna fit in. Number one is peer pressure, and being accepted. It is so important for a child to be accepted in schools nowadays. With all the bullying and stuff going on, we didn't have that in school really. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was a little bit, but you didn't hear of kids committing suicide because they were being bullied in school when we were in high school or middle school. But now, so kids want to be accepted so bad that they would go to the end of the world to fit in.
Yeah.
So if you got the cool kids that smoke weed and everybody want to hang out, they're gonna do it even if they really don't want to, just so they can fit in, and be that cool bunch.
And that hasn't, like you said, that hasn't
I
changed.
don't think it changes for us even as we get older and we're hanging out with our older friends and they want to have a dinner party and everyone's drinking wine and whatnot. You kind of feel like, oh, well, I guess I need to drink some wine too, or I need to have a beer with the guys and we're grilling out,
Yeah,
So it really I think it's just a bigger pool of people to peer pressure you into it. As we get to be adults and whatnot, it's only like 5 or 6 people, your neighbors or whatnot, they kind of do it. But yeah, I think that acceptance really still pushes us to this day. And now with things being more acceptable, like marijuana being, always talk about legalizing it and whatnot, we may see the numbers rise for marijuana up to alcohol level, if not more than that, because we're starting to see that.
do the kids ever talk about legalization?
Oh, yes.
They're all
Oh,
for it.
yeah.
What did they
Oh,
think?
honey, they said, it's just a couple of years and it's gonna be legal, they love
Do
talking.
they realize even if it's legal, you still can't smoke it till you're like 21?
Yes, honey, that is a big topic. When we cover marijuana, that is one of the most interesting topics in the group. Don't get me wrong now, kids are very intelligent. They do their homework.
They are smarter than we
Yeah,
are.
some of the kids could really teach my program. I'm like, golly.
I don't know if they're smarter than we are. I will say that they are as intelligent as adults, but I think we have the wisdom behind it.
Right.
Sometimes
Yeah.
make better decisions.
Exactly. So, yeah, they just can't wait till it becomes legal.
Good. Have you seen anything with the tobacco 21 laws coming up? Did it change anything in the schools, or did COVID hit too fast that we couldn't find anything out about it really when it happened?
Oh my gosh.
Well, I don't think it changed anything currently because the kids, that is basically the top substance right now. Before COVID hit was the Juuling and e-cigarettes. Actually, you were getting more violations with that than alcohol or marijuana. But it comes in place where now they could put the marijuana into the Juuls and stuff like that. But it didn't change because even parents will buy their kids Juuls and stuff because they don't see anything wrong with it. So the tobacco 21 did not change in the schools. I didn't see any change at all.
Do you think it's because kids are caught easier with the vaping, or is it really more?
I think maybe because it's caught more because they're more aware, because it's so
It's the hot
popular.
topic right
It's the
now.
hot topic. So they are very aware. Even, the teachers had to be educated on that. I think someone from the health department came in and educated some teachers on what to look for, and stuff like that. So they were really catching them like crazy, here these last couple of months.
So we talked about, I don't know if it was a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago, it all runs together, but about knowing, when we were in high school, we knew who to go talk to find whatever. Is that still the case? Do all the kids, even if you use or not,
Yes.
you still know who
They
to
know.
talk to for what substance? There's this underground chain of communication.
Yes.
That's just amazing how that.
And they're
works.
very loyal. They will not, if they get caught, they will not tell where they got it from or who's, supplying it in school. They're very loyal to not telling on each other.
So are they getting it from school then, or are they getting it outside of school and
Both.
bringing it in?
Both.
So we've got dealers in the schools. I mean, obviously we have users in the schools.
Yeah. both.
Are you seeing dealers that are not students? Because I know, like in larger cities, like let's say Raleigh, for example, they've had situations, we talked about steroids one time, but they've had situations where there are adults waiting for the kids as they come off the football field, wanting to sell them steroids, you know, so you've got outside people coming in and preying on kids.
Well, we don't see that simply because one thing I'm really happy about the Burke County schools, they have guards at the entrance, so you have to show your ID, you have to tell why you're coming to the school, and then they even call in to the front desk to say, you know, such and such is here to pick up such and such. So, you know, anyone can't just walk on
So
the
you couldn't even
premises.
make it up and say, oh yeah, I'm here to pick up my nephew and
No,
show your
no.
ID and then never really go in the building.
No.
That's good.
Yeah. So that's the
That's,
good thing.
that's kind of scary too, though, because then it's all
That would happen.
inside, like
Yeah.
like in there. So
Does that even work when they're picking their kids up, like, you know, when car riders come through, are they
Uh-huh.
carding every car rider that's picking
No,
up?
no.
Okay.
They
So
don't
that's
do
all
I'm
that.
during
wondering
school
if-
hours.
It's
Yeah,
school
so I'm
hours.
wondering if after school, like in pickup lines and stuff, if there's still people that are coming through like that, or if there could be.
I mean, anything's possible,
Yeah.
but I think it's more or less the kids are bringing it
Yeah.
to school and stuff. They selling it, you know. They getting it from wherever, and they come to school. They make a lot of money in school,
Well,
you
good.
know.
And like football games,
Yeah.
I mean, you were talking about that
Yeah,
too.
football games.
Using it football, I mean, all sporting events, but we're in the South and
Absolutely.
football's big.
Mhm.
That's what you do in the fall,
Yeah,
especially.
I've
small
seen stories where like kids were drinking at the game in the parking lot, and I was like, why would you do that? Like,
Yeah.
You all go sit in the car and you all drink. I mean, we've had kids
Oh,
that
yeah.
a group, you know, all of a sudden we get like 10 referrals. Well, why'd you get
Yeah.
10 referrals? Because they were all caught drinking in the
Uh-huh.
parking lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At a football game, and some passed out or whatever, you know. Yeah.
I think that's part of that, and this is just my take on it, but that's part of that rebellion, that experimentation. Let's take it one step further.
Mhm.
You know, it's like, it's one thing to run from the cop,
Mhm.
but then it's another if you wait until he sees you and then you
Mhm.
flip him off and then you take off running. You know, it's just,
Mhm.
you take it too far and you keep,
Taking
each
that
time you don't
chance.
get in trouble,
Mhm.
you keep wanting to take another risk and another risk.
Oh, yeah.
You're asking
Teenagers
for
are
it.
like that, you know, they like to take risks.
Yeah, I think that it's just inherent in teenagers. They gotta kind of rebel a little bit to establish their own
Absolutely.
independence away from their
Yeah.
parents and whatnot.
Mhm.
too. So sometimes staying in opposition of your parents' ideals is easier because you're trying to be your own adult, like at a young age,
Absolutely.
and so they're starting to push for that too. So,
Mhm.
what was something you'd like to see in the school system implemented that we could do to help?
I think we need more counselors, substance abuse counselors in the school, definitely.
Why did you specify that? I'm
Because-
throwing that out there because I know the answer to this one.
Because counselors and substance abuse counselors are totally different, you know? And a lot of times you know, way back when they felt like, well, we got guidance counselors. But guidance counselors will tell you quickly, we're not knowledgeable about substances, you know, or addiction. We need someone, we don't know what to tell that child that the mom just died from an overdose, you know. I've had counselors that call me at the middle school, Miss Robinson, can you come up here? We had a child whose mom OD'd over the weekend. We don't know what to say to this child, you know. So we need more substance abuse counselors because the drug use is increasing, sadly to say. It's not diminishing, it's increasing. So we need that. We need it in the elementary schools, you know. Way back when we had the big grant, we had 3 substance abuse counselors, and we had the middle schools and the high schools. We even went into the elementary schools and did, you know, education with elementary kids and stuff. And, you know, we had to stop. We can't do that much because we don't have, you know, the help, the manpower.
Yeah, one person then.
Yeah.
One person, and then you've got the, you know, drug-free communities team that comes in and does prevention education, but that's not you guys can't be in one place all the time.
Right.
You can't be in one place all the
No,
time.
no.
I mean, you are literally at every middle school and every high school, you're on
Yes.
call every day.
Every day, every day.
And it's a lot for one person.
Yeah, and this last year with the vaping and stuff that increased, I mean, I was like, Lord, help me. Because I mean, the schools was calling me left and right. We need you, we have 6 middle school kids. We even had an elementary. I had a teacher, principal to call me, where it was some 5th graders who was in school vaping, and then we had some 5th graders in the bathroom snorting candy up their nose. I mean, it's getting younger and younger, you know?
Well, and they see it.
And they see it, so, you know, why not get someone there? Elementary, middle
Yes.
school, high school.
Yep.
Get them in elementary.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw a little girl get into a vehicle, like, you know, in the pickup line. Her mom is vaping, and I knew what grade the little girl was in. She was in 3rd grade, and you could see her say something, and mom handed the vape back, and she took a hit off of it and passed it back. Well, I asked my daughter later, I was like, do you know her? Like, can you find out some information? And she said, no, it's fine. She told me that it's just the juice stuff. It's not, there's no tobacco in it. And when they're little, they don't necessarily understand
Right.
nicotine versus tobacco, but
Right.
she said, no, it's just the juice stuff. And it was like, it's like liquid candy. No, no, absolutely not. But I just could not believe that. Like, why would you even let your child inhale anything? I don't care what it was,
Right.
but
Right.
why are you gonna let him take a puff off of something? I was
Absolutely.
appalled. Yeah.
All right, well, that was crazy.
On
But I agree,
that
I think we do need more like substance abuse counselors in the schools. If you guys agree with that, please feel free to message us. We can put together a petition, whatnot, and get more substance abuse counselors in the school so we can actually help our kids so they don't derail their educations and lives through substance use. Thank you guys for watching. At the end of the video, there's a crisis number. If you guys know anybody that's in crisis, or if you yourself are in crisis, please don't hesitate to call. And again, message us, and we'll get back to you guys. Thank you guys.